Welcome back. Video 3, banger number 3.
Let's bang it out, shall we?
Yeah. Observation. This is a good one. And we've seen this work so well in the sales game as a whole, is when people take some time just to sit back and watch for a while. Very smart. Not to say that some people do it just to simply shy away from responsibility. I think some people do use that as a way of shying from responsibility and taking action. But I think some people, when done deliberately, just sit back and watch and read the play and see what goes on for a while. Very effective. It does. Take it away, man.
Yeah. Observation strategy essentially is that it's sitting back and reading the play so that you can gather information. If you've just received $1 million and someone says to you, right, now go invest that money, and you'd never really invested before, you'd be very unwise to simply just put your money in the first thing that your neighbor over the fence told you to put the money into. Of course, if you're smart, you're going to sit back and watch. You'll watch and observe how stock markets work. You'll watch and observe the news around housing booms and drops and things like this. Or you'll sit back and watch how a business is started and how business operates before you'll smartly invest and smartly put your money into it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So observation is super powerful. It's purely, this is all an information gathering exercise and information analysis exercise. That's all. The best observation is therefore done without emotion, or with as little emotion involved as possible. What I mean by that is, don't allow yourself to observe something, i.e. how people are playing the game or which relationships are being created in the room. Don't allow yourself to observe that and then get emotional about it. Don't get angry at how someone is playing the game. The anger will cloud your judgment as to what's really going on. Does this make sense? Don't sit back and get thrilled and excited at this particular stock that you've been told is going to boom. That thrill and excitement will cloud your judgment, and your ability to logically analyze, to logically observe what's really going on in the room and then pick your position accordingly will be impacted by that. Does this make sense?
Okay.
Really
good.
So, yeah. Okay. So that's observation as a whole. The pro of it is that it gives you more information than anyone who just went in and just started playing. Quite often when we say those magic words, go, like the final instruction of the game, most people's immediate reaction, we've seen a lot, from stealing immediately from the person sitting next to them, or they just immediately start trying to sell, like offering back rubs for people's chips and stuff like, like all of that. That's great. That's all just part of the strategy. More of like a dominant strategy than anything else. But those that observe, essentially what they get to do is they get to gather information and see how the play is playing out. Now, the con of that is that it costs time. That's the only con of observation. Is that it costs time. You're running out of time to make a move the longer you observe. However, in saying that, if I could give a tip to anyone playing the game, it's to understand that the sales game goes for like overall a day, really, like that whole 8 hour
I think there's a
period.
principle in that too, dude. Like, I think most of the time when we're afraid of time, is it seems to be a fairly common or accurate way to observe life is often you have more time than you think.
Yes. Well said. And the sales game is no different. If you sat and observed just for like the first half an hour, I'm probably giving away too much strategy here, but if that was something you wanted to go in with and just observe for the first half hour, my suggestion or my prediction is that you'd do quite well for the rest of the game.
I really believe that. I do.
Yeah.
Up for some etymology?
Etymology me up.
It's got a couple of things. There's actually observation, which was the performance of a religious rite. So it actually stems from a religious base, but then quickly moved in around 1200 for more around Latin word, which was observationum or observatio, which is a watching over, observance, investigation, or a noun of action from past participle stem of observare, which is to watch over, note, heed, look to, attend to, guard, regard, and comply with.
Interesting.
I really like those words. Watch over, note,
yeah, watch, yes,
heed, look to, attend to. I love this word. Guard, regard, comply with.
See, the two I would take out of that are watch over and note. And that really speaks to the idea of not becoming emotionally involved. Just watch. That's all. The less emotion involved, the more you'll see.
Yeah, it's really interesting. When you talk about the word ob, that actually stands for in front of or before. That's the word ob, in front of or before. When you talk about serve, but particularly the root ser, sir, that actually stands from to protect. So that's interesting. It's almost like a bit of a nature of like to stand in front of, to stand before. And there's an element of protection that happens by doing just that. Isn't that interesting?
Just by observing, you actually are adding value.
Yeah, and you're protecting. You're protecting yourself. You're probably protecting your chips. You're probably protecting your reputation. You're probably protecting so much just by sitting before and watching and heeding and noting. That's really cool.
Well, I think that in an interesting way, you're actually even protecting the room. You're protecting the other players. Think about it. A lifeguard, that's how I took it when you were talking just then, was like a lifeguard observes the ocean and everyone involved. So they're just observing. But the fact that they're there watching you, you feel taken care of.
Right. That's interesting.
Different angles that could be taken from for sure.
Yeah. I like that. But again, this is about being aware of what you're doing deliberately.
Yes.
This is the game. If you want to master the game, we're talking life, we're talking about business, we're talking about the sales game specifically itself. It's about those who are deliberate. Those are purposeful. Those are very much aware of everything they're saying and doing. That's the game.
That's it. So let's combine the three we've got so far. We've got one more after this as well, but I want you to imagine yourself playing the game. And if at any particular time you had the ability to adaptively and flexibly choose whether you observe, whether you collaborate, or whether you dominate at any given moment, you very quickly become to see, hey, I think I'll be pretty well taken care of here if I can master these.
That's great, man.
Yeah. So let's jump.
You can think about that even in a sales conversation, right? In your real business, right?
Yeah.
You know, in what order are you going to play, right? Are you going to start by observation, sit back, listening? You're going to enter with dominance and be like, this is what I want. Let's talk about it. You're going to purposely start and engage with, we should work together here. You know, like it's a really interesting kind of almost triangle again of thinking about what order do you play this, you know, and are you aware of it? I think it's really cool. Love it. That's valuable.
Key learnings below. Post Malone. We'll jump into the fourth one out of picking your winning strategy.
Did you say Post Malone?
Yeah. Post Malone below.
What's your favorite lyrics? You know?